All right, this is Wilson Sessions, and this is 13 Towers. We're going to go through and get some equipment info.
Okay, so I played drums. I have a DW Collector Series, DW hardware. I use Zildjian A Customs, all my cymbals, Tama pedals, and Evans heads on all my drums because they're awesome. Big for the sticks, I think that covers everything.
Now, as far as your setup goes, have you tried other types and you just prefer this?
I'm a little bit picky. Yeah, I've gone through maybe 4 or 5 snares. My snare is actually right now a Mapex Black Panther, and I've used DW snares, and those Orange County snares, and I always end up going back to my Mapex. It sounds great. So, but I've had other cymbals and other heads that once you beat them up a little bit, you kind of want a fresh head on your drums. So I swap them out depending how often we play, but every couple months or so. It's not cheap.
Yeah,
I wish I played a harmonica. a little easier, but yeah. So that covers all my gear.
But as far as like your current setup, this is the one that actually lasts the longest and the one that you prefer the most. Like if somebody was coming up to you and go, "Okay, I like your sound.
Yeah.
Is this what I need to get?"
No, I mean, I started at a much more entry basic level kit, and I worked my way up. I mean, when I started the drums, maybe 16, 17 years, it was like a $200 kit you can buy. It comes with everything. 3 months later, it's all broken. So then I worked my way up to like a Mapex, and then now the DW, a little bit more of a pro kit. But it's always been one rack tom, two floor toms for like the last 6 years or so, and that's my favorite setup. So, I mean, everyone has different sound that they're looking for, so I can't speak for other drummers, but I'm pretty sure once you kind of find what you like, a lot of drummers like to kind of stick with that for a while. And we gear share a lot too, so I'm not picky. I'll play whoever's backlining that usually. But that when I supply the drums, that's my setup that I usually put out there.
All right, and have you always stayed with the drums, or have you ventured into other instruments?
I played guitar too. Just being in this band so long, I probably diminished a lot in my guitar skills. But I mean, that's the only way I can. Everyone writes songs. It seems like you'll pick up a guitar. If I got a song, I'll bring it in, hear the chords, and we'll kind of work it from there. So I'll go to my guitar, and then I'll go to the rhythm on my drums. And when I write songs myself, that's kind of how I put them together, I guess, as a drummer. So, yeah, but lately I don't play my guitar as much as I want to.
But that's still part of like bringing in the writing process.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I have lyrics, and I'll bring it. I did it a couple months ago. One of our new songs, Edson helped me with these chords because I didn't pick up the guitar. I had lyrics, a melody, and drum beats because that's what I did. So, and we chorded out a song. It might be a little bit backwards sometimes to write that way, but it sometimes works. Yeah, that's all I got to say.
All right, next.
Moving on. So I play bass on an Ernie Ball sub bass, which I love. It's not here today because I bought a brand new Ibanez. Yes, it's amazing.
Edit.
Exactly.
Wait for it.
I've had the same setup since 2007, and it's always been solid. I started with a carbon head.
Oh, nice.
At first, and then I just wanted to have a matching Ampeg to make it just sound the way it's supposed to. Pretty simple.
For your bass sound, is there you're using the sub as your primary, using the Ibanez as a backup. Is there a certain pickup setup that you would recommend, or that you're always making the other bass sound like?
Not really. I just go with what comes on the bass. I'm not as technical as I should be.
It's punk rock.
It's punk rock, exactly.
Have you ever, or have you tried using a lot of different pedals and messing with effects? And
no, not on bass. I try to keep it simple. That's what guitar players are for.
And for your setup, is it solid state? 300 watt?
This actually isn't mine. This is the back line that the place here where we practice provides.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I used to have that. I miss it. Anyway,
But it is solid state.
yes. What type of strings do you use?
Whatever's on sale.
Yeah. Is there a certain type of string that you prefer? Flat wound, round wound, hex core?
Yeah, all of those sound nice.
Walking in, you're gonna be playing on like yarn, yarn and twine.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not as technical as I should be on it. You know, I asked the guy at Guitar Center, which sound good. He gives them to me. I give him money.
And then you put it on there.
Yeah, here, folks, go to Guitar Center.
Exactly. New sponsor.
And have you? Is that the only instrument that you're playing?
I play a
Or
little
do you-
guitar. Started elementary school, you know, with trombone. Started as a horn player. Played euphonium, middle school and high school, and then just started playing bass in my 20s more and more, and just stuck with it.
Is there something that you preferred from the bass that you weren't getting from the other instruments?
Most of those instruments are all in the.
players don't get chicks.
That.
Apparently, bass players don't either.
I mean, they're all on the bass line. You know,
This
so-
guy gets it.
I'm close, so I can hear it.
You know, all those instruments are on a bass line. You know, so it just seems normal. Easy transition.
All right.
So my main rig is a 2004 SG Standard that I play through a 1984 JCM 800 single channel, and my effects setup is very simplistic. I play one Boss Metal Zone distortion pedal that I really just kind of use as a boost to give me that second channel, and I try to keep as much of the original Marshall tone as I can through that setup. As far as cables, I prefer Megami because you buy them once and you never have to buy them again. Guaranteed for life.
Lifetime.
I play Ernie Ball regular Slinky Cobalt strings, and
Is that the do you prefer the light, middle, or you go for a heavy gauge?
I go for the medium, the regular Slinky,
Alright.
which is the 10 bottom 46 top.
Alright.
And I've been playing Slinkies for years. The Cobalts came out, within the last decade, which dates me. So that was a change for me to switch over to the Cobalts, but I like those a lot better.
So what caused you to change over to the Cobalts?
Well, to be quite honest, I'm pretty neglectful with my guitar maintenance.
Oh.
I hate changing my strings. The Cobalts are coated, so they last a lot longer. They don't go dead nearly as quick, and they're actually brighter, in my opinion, than just the standard Ernie Ball regular Slinkies. Whereas back in the old days, when you were playing one of those coated strings that's supposed to last for 6 months, like the Elixirs or whatever,
Yeah.
those things sounded like you were clunking on a bucket.
Yeah.
They had zero tone. I think that these are actually brighter, have a better tone than the standard Slinkies, and you pay a little bit of a premium for them. And I find that they don't tarnish and corrode nearly as quickly. I can usually keep a set on there through a couple gigs a month and 4 practices a month, and usually get a month and a half out of them before I need to switch them out, which is pretty good compared to a non-coated string. So it's more utility than anything, but I really like the way they sound as well.
All right. And do you edit? Do you? So you play the standard SG. Is there any other guitars or any other instruments that you also use?
So I also use a 2004, just by coincidence, American Strat Deluxe with the active mid boost. I use that sometimes. It typically sits as my backup guitar, but I like to pull it out from time to time when I need something with a little more high end and not so much chunk as I get out of the humbuckers.
A little more twang.
Yeah, a little more twang.
What type of neck do you have on it?
The Fender.
The Fender, yes.
It's got a maple fretboard.
Nice. Is it coated or non-coated?
No, we're just some dudes geeking out about gear.
You sound like a mouth breather.
You're not?
But and as far as like your actual rig, do you have other variations on the rig, or do you normally stay? Is it like if you said the cab is a 410, or is it a
No, it's actually the 210. I mean, excuse me, 212 combo.
212? Okay. Do you prefer the? Have you tried different types of variations? Do you just prefer the 212, or is
So I have had a multitude of amps over the years. And when I was a young man,
back in the day?
nothing would do for me except for at least a half stack. Had to have a half stack. Doesn't matter if I never played it anywhere, but my mom's basement. Had to be a half stack because it wasn't rock and roll if it wasn't a half stack.
I know somebody like that.
As I got a little older, actually started playing out more than back in those days. Found out it really sucks to haul around the half stack, especially when you can't turn it up past 1 or 2 because you blow out the windows and the tiny ass venues you're playing in. So I switched to combos and never looked back. And even that Marshall combo is probably a little loud for most of the venues that we play. But what are you gonna do?
Do you find yourself turning it down after you've plugged into the PA system and the sound guy gives you that death stare, like, please turn your stuff down?
You're ruining my stage.
It's like you don't.
Foundation of the building.
Okay. It's like, you don't.
It's funny. I've talked to some oldsters who would talk about, oh yeah, man, I always played my stack no matter where we were, and if it was too loud on the stage volume, I'd turn it around towards the wall so I could get my tone. And I'm thinking, what is the purpose of that? I mean, you're kind of clinging to a dream that doesn't really exist. You're not packing Wembley Stadium here.
Instrument. Okay. So I play an Epiphone Dot. It's over in the corner. Well, it's in the case now. But yeah, I use that, and I found it's been versatile for me. So I play a lot of different styles, so I can use it in this context, and it's worked well.
What type of styles?
I play jazz also, and like funk and stuff. And I think that it works well for the jazz stuff too, as well as I can use it in a ska punk band. So it's it's nice. Yeah, and what I was saying is I had been using flat wound strings up until this is like the first practice that I made the switch over.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's been good. What I was worrying about was with the jazz. I guess I would maybe sacrifice some of the tone, but I think I don't think I sacrificed too much, and I get a lot more bending action, which is always nice for more rock gigs.
All right.
So
and when you're transitioning back over, doing different types of shows, do you have to change your strings out, or do you just have to make some more adjustments according to the way that the guitar is still set up?
I don't usually, because I have to switch so quick. I don't usually make too many adjustments. If I was going to, I might change the action or something, like raise it a little bit for the rock gigs. But I don't generally, just for time's sake, and I don't change the strings. No, because I might have to play. Because I go to school for music, so in the morning I might be doing jazz stuff, and then in the afternoon, if it's a Tuesday, then I'll be here.
So you might need a second guitar.
Yeah. That's the plan.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Now, you said, so this is your only guitar right now.
I have another guitar, another electric guitar. It's called a Brawley. It was like an offshoot of Fender. That like eventually went out of business, but it's a pretty decent guitar. But I stopped. My space was kind of limited up here. I left it at my house, my home in Richmond, which is where I'm originally from. So I think I'll bring it up here eventually someday. But I'd rather just get a new guitar. But of course, I have like an acoustic, like a steel string and a nylon string also. So it's like I want to get a new electric guitar, and I want a new amp, and I want a new steel string guitar. So I have to kind of make sacrifices. I guess.
So for your rig, what do you play through?
I've been using this Fender Chorus. Actually, it was James's originally, so I've been using it. He's been letting me play through it for our gigs because I didn't have I had this. I originally had this pretty nice amp. It was and it got stolen unfortunately before I joined the band, so I didn't really have anything that good to play with. And so James has been letting me use his. It's been what a pal, right? So that's been cool.
Preston chorus.
There you go. 210 Christian chorus. And as far as pedals for this, for ska punk, I've really just been playing. Usually, I just use a distortion pedal, overdrive distortion pedal. I like using wah pedals a lot in general, but I don't think it really has its place in this type of music most of the time. So,
What wah pedal you prefer?
as Crybaby. I don't remember the model number, but yeah, Crybaby.
And
when are we doing those again?
have you experimented with any other kind of like flangers, choruses, or any kind of other type of effects?
I have a delay pedal, and I also have a pedal. I don't remember what the name of it is, but it's like a harmonizer.
All right.
So I can choose the interval, or I can do like an octave. I can do anywhere up to an octave, basically. And it's one of the ones that like Tom Morello uses, a whammy pedal. That's what it is. Yeah. So I can bend the pitch.
Nice.
So that's it's fun. I haven't found too many like really practical uses for it yet, but
you will.
I will. Yeah.
I actually have a black lacquer Yamaha custom alto saxophone. I really like the action on the alto, on the Yamaha horns, and I play on a Claude Lakey mouthpiece, plastic. Well, I would really like a Dave Gardella metal mouthpiece, the original ones, not the machine manufactured ones. And if anybody knows where to find one, let me know. Especially if it's under $1,000. And then I use the Van Doren Java reeds, and I bounce around from number 3 to 3.5, depending on how much growling and bending notes I need to do that night.
Which ones do you find more better suited for the bending notes? Is there one you prefer, like the lighter number, or?
Yeah, the lighter number, the 3s, because the reed's a little more. It's not as hard as the higher numbers, and so there's a little more flexibility. And I tend to really beat up the reeds in a gig, so I actually use a brand new reed every gig.
Oh, okay.
So.
And usually, like, how many come in a pack?
3 to 5, depending, and the pack ranges from 25 to 50 or more.
All right. For general maintenance on a saxophone, like when do you have to normally change the plugs out?
Oh, the pads?
Yes.
You should actually take your saxophone every few months to the music store to have them run the light through it to make sure there's no leaks. And as long as there's no leaks and the pad looks okay, you don't really need to change it. But I think you can probably drive a semi through some of the leaks in my horn right now.
Nice. Is that the only instrument you're playing currently at the moment?
Keyboard on some gigs. But mainly I gig on saxophone. I do, however, have clarinet, flutes, ukuleles, guitars, keytars.
Is this some of the stuff that you're actually going to be introducing into, or are you going to stay primarily as a saxophone?
It depends.
All right.
My horn, my trumpet is a silver Getson Eterna 2 that I got so long ago, about 10 years ago, and it's been a very solid horn ever since. It's got a nice bright tone to it. It's a nice high intermediate low pro horn. Getson's just a very solid line for anybody who's looking to upgrade from a basic school horn. And usually fairly decent price range. I got mine for just shy of $1,000. It's not bad.
So on a scale for horns, is that what you consider like a mid range?
Yeah. It's a little bit higher than a traditional mid range. It's not gonna be as nice as a Bach, but it's gonna be nicer than like most simple Yamahas that the school issues out to, or Jupiters. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be right in there. It gets in, and then the Eterna 2 series is just a solid series. You hear them, they're good for any real genre of music. You can use them for jazz. You can use them for classic. Obviously, I use them for ska punk, and I've got about 3 or 4 different horns. I'm sitting at home with different styles, different metals, and I find this one has just the best tone that really matches other horns and other instruments within the band. So, I tried those ones, just didn't really feel right. So I've been rocking that silver one ever since. It's worked out pretty well. As for a mouthpiece, I used to rock a Bach 3C until recently. I had a nice personal trumpet lesson with Real Big Fish's Johnny Christmas. So that was really cool.
Name drop.
Yeah, he gave me a little personal lesson at one of his shows, and and he recommended a Marcinkiewicz, which is a company out in Washington, I want to say, and it was a 9.6 Marcinkiewicz. It's a custom build from that manufacturer that is similar to a 3C, but it's got a little bit more of an angular to the cup, and it helps get you just a brighter tone. So awesome. And I don't really play much else. Stick to my horn. Need all the practice I can get.
All right.
So I have the most non-ska trombone ever. My trombone actually is really designed for the symphony. It's a basic Yamaha student model. Rose brass bell, which is sort of this bright, glowing sound. Not at all what you want for some sort of ska punk nonsense. The bores are 485, 95 splits. They're just frankly too large, really, to play the octaves I'm required to play in a trombone. So why do I have this colossal train wreck of a trombone? Well, I got it years ago to play in college. I went to college basically for free on the trombone. It was very convenient, and it was free. And frankly, haven't really found a better horn under $5,000 to replace it. If any of you know where to find a Silversonic 2B, though, call me. That said, mine actually works really well for just about everything I had to play in college. It was really where I did a lot of playing. It was hits and pep bands and classicals and orchestras and jazz shows and whatever they needed a trombone player, they called me, not the music kids, to do it. It was very frustrating. It drove my roommate nuts, who was in fact a trombone major. Terrible irony. And so that's sort of that. I play in a 6.5 AL mouthpiece, which is sort of this, again, sort of general standard issue trombone mouthpiece, nothing particularly special. Designed more for sort of the mid to high range. For those who actually read music, F on the staff, the octave above is chiefly where it lies. Below that is simply not deep enough to really have the sort of bass quality required to play bass bone. The bores are also too small, and above that for a lead, it's just too small. You need something like a 12C with a much more shallow cup to really direct the air and get a much more brighter sound out of it. But considering how many different things I had to play in college, this filled all the gaps plus more, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Awesome. Ace. All right. This is Wilson from Wilsen Sessions, and I'd like to thank 13 Towers for giving me some time today to talk and go back and forth on some instruments and be a band geek. All right. Just remember, if you're not playing, you're not living. Thank you very much. Bye.
All right.
Yay!